Edge Designations, CFA Level 1 2024 Revision and Exam Program. The purpose of this particular video is twofold. Well, first and foremost, let me introduce myself. My name is Russell Jude, and I head up the CFA program on behalf of Edge Designations. Let's just discuss the purpose, reasoning behind this particular video, which, as I mentioned, is twofold. First and foremost, to discuss what you can expect from your CFA Level 1 exam. So obviously we will be looking at it from a CFA point of view, what you can expect in the exam, what your exam is going to look like, and all good things like that. Then we're going to talk to you more from an Edge Designations point of view, what we have to offer you in terms of the revision and exam program. We put together a lovely program together for you, okay, going through a complete set of revision of the entire CFA Level 1 syllabus, practice exams, etc., etc. That'll be point number 2. First and foremost, we'll give respect, of course, to the CFA Institute themselves. So we will start off with point number 1 first. Let's talk a little bit about what your actual CFA Level 1 exam is going to look like. Okay. First and foremost, as you come into the particular exam, it's always important to remember, and I think all designations, at least all the financial designations that we offer thus far, have all moved completely towards, okay, what we call CBT, okay. CFA is no exception. CBT is computer-based testing. Everything's now done on the computer. We get a lot of concern from candidates, okay, in terms of when we talk about CBT. A lot of candidates still prefer the good old pen and paper, as do I, okay, and often ask, well, will there be some kind of, can they do workings? Is everything just going to be on the computer? Well, all your answers that you input, remember, at least for CFA Level 1, okay, every single question that you've got is a multiple choice. It's all MCQs, okay, so everything gets inputted into the computer. Then, of course, yes, done on the computer exclusively. However, there is always and it'll depend on the exam center where you write. You'll be given a computer, you'll be given a keyboard and a mouse and all that kind of good stuff to be able to use the computer, but you'll also be given something to write on, some rough paper, sometimes it's the form of a whiteboard and a pen, etc. But you're always given something to do your rough workings on. Of course, that has to be given back to the CFA, given back to the exam center. You can't take that out with you. But so just to remember, just to summarize, your questions will be on the screen. You'll see those then on your screen, on your computer screen. You'll input A, B, and C as your answers again onto the computer screen, okay, via the use of your mouse that you've got available. But your rough workings, of course, you are able to do. They will provide you something, depending on, as I say, depending on the exam center, you'll be given pen and paper, pen and whiteboard, something like that. Okay, and of course you've got access, of course, to your calculator. We'll talk about that one in a second. Okay, as you enter into the exam center, you'll be asked to sign the pledge. A little bit of a tutorial just to make sure you're able to use the computer. We once had a CFA Level 3 candidate. Unfortunately for them, weren't so familiar on using the computer, and they were about 10 minutes into their CFA Level 3 exam, and the exam they pushed the wrong button, and the exam said, would you like to submit your exam final, warning final? And they said yes, and the exam was submitted after 10 minutes, could not get the exam back. That was the end of that. So quite important, guys. Look at the tutorial, okay, take the survey and the pledge that you're not going to do anything untoward, and make sure you get all of that done, and make sure you're familiar with the system. Okay, in terms of the exam, I'm sure by now everybody's aware, even those I was a little amused. I got a CFA Level 2 student on board just the other day who wrote CFA Level 1. He said about 20 years ago. Wow. Okay. Good thing it doesn't expire. Okay. So even for those that perhaps have been in the system for a while, okay, I'm sure now familiar with the new system, it's 135 minutes. It used to be 3 hours the exam, okay, when it was PBT, paper-based testing. When they moved to computer-based testing, now the exam is 135 minutes or 2 hours and 15 minutes. 2 hours and 15 minutes. Now we know all the detail behind that, okay. It is 90 multiple choice questions. So the maths is fairly gentle. Okay. In other words, 135 minutes. Okay. And you've got to answer 90 multiple choice questions in that time. It's 90 seconds per question. Is that quick? Yes, it is. Okay. Anybody that's gone through the system or written this exam before or knows anything about it will know that that is quick. Okay. Good. Okay. Just a quick look, and just of course to remember, guys, you write 2 exams. You write exam session 1, exam session 2. In the olden days, it used to be called the morning exam and the afternoon exam. We no longer refer to them like that because depending on when you manage to get yourself a slot at the exam center to write, it could be morning, it could be after, it could be any time of the day. Hopefully not too late, of course. Okay. In terms of your multiple choice questions, there are only 3 options. There's A, B, and C's. Okay, and of course those that have studied probability theory by now in the quant section will know that that gives you then a probability of 33% of getting it right. Remembering, of course, guys, there is no negative marking, so if you're not sure of an answer, just guess. Okay, but please don't leave anything blank, of course. Okay, we look over here. How did things change 2023? This is obviously for the more immediate writers that perhaps never made the exam in 2023. Okay, what we see over here, the changes from 23 to 24. Okay, number 1, okay, is that corporate issuers, okay, has now moved out of paper 2 into paper 1. So in 2023, there were only 4 sections of the 10 in paper 1. Okay, exam session 1, and now there are 5. Same 4 as there were before: ethics, quants, economics, and financial statement analysis. Now we've got corporate issuers in there as well. Okay, you finish up that exam 2 hours and 50 minutes. You can take an optional break. Of course, we always suggest that you do take a break because it is very advisable just to get out there, clear your head, and after 2 hours 15 of writing, your head needs a break. Come back for exam session number 2, and it's a bit of what we call rinse and repeat. Exactly what you did in the exam session 1, you now do again. 90 questions, 135 minutes, 90 seconds a question. Again, what we notice over here is that corporate issuers used to be in the paper 2. It's no longer there. It's moved to paper 1. So it's still all there. The difference over here is now, again, the weighting is quite nice. You've got all your asset classes in paper 2, equities, fixed income, derivatives, and alts. And you've also got portfolio management in there as well. Again, 135 minutes, 90 seconds a question. It's quick. You've got to get in, you've got to get out, and you've got to move through that paper relatively quickly. Okay. But having said that, as you can see, that we have moved sections around a little bit. Okay, corporate issues moved in and out from out of paper 2 into paper 1. What we notice as well over here as we go over the page, okay, you'll notice that the syllabus and weights changes. There's been a little bit there as well. Okay, ethics remains exactly the same, 23 to 24. Quants has gone down a little bit, economics down a little bit, in financial statement, same story. Now, why have all of those 3 in particular gone down a little bit? This is something I just want to talk about for a minute. What CFA Institute did in 2024 is they took these 3 topics, okay, which were big, huge topics in 2023. They took out a massive chunk of the material from those 3, okay, and they removed them. Okay, what we now have in 2024 are 2 sections. We've got what we call the pre-reads, and we've got the core material. Okay, under the pre-read section, okay, they took, let me give it another color over here. Let's put it in blue. Quants, economics, and financial statement analysis. They took those 3 big topics, okay, and they split them into 2. They put a lot of it into what we call the pre-read section, and then they left quite a bit of it as well, of course, into the core section, the core readings. Everything else just remained in the core readings, weren't changed at all. These 3, quants, economics, and financial statement analysis, was now split into 2. What does pre-reading mean? Pre-reading means, okay, that it is what we call a pre-read. In other words, you don't have to read it at all. If you are very au fait or familiar with these three topics, quants, economics, and financial statement analysis, you don't have to read the pre-reads at all. Okay. Pre-reads are not examinable. Okay. And while they did this, they said there's a lot of material that CFA candidates need to cover. We could take a whole batch of it out, okay, put it into pre-reads. If you haven't seen it before, you're not familiar with it, well, then you've got to go through it. If you are, well, then you don't, and it saves you a whole batch of time. Our theory at Edge is slightly different to that, and I'm not overly happy that it has been removed for two reasons. First of all, most of the undergrad that our candidates do, be it finance, be it accounting, be it in maths or anything of that nature, you're never going to really get all three of those to a large degree of expertise that you don't need to see them again. Okay, for example, a guy that studied accounting, his quants won't be that good. He may need to look at the pre-read for that, and his economics probably also won't be that good. For a finance professional coming out of a finance degree, his accounting probably is not that good. So very seldom you're going to get someone that comes out of an undergrad or some kind of a degree wanting to do a CFA a charter and is familiar with all of those three, such that he would not need to look at them, and they all need to go sit in pre-read. We're not a big believer in that. What we at Edge therefore have done is, and we make it available to all of our candidates, no matter which program of ours that you buy, is we give you access to the pre-readings. We give you notes, we give you videos, and we give you questions on all of the pre-reads. Okay, and if memory serves, I think it's about 23 chapters of pre-reads that have been taken out of core readings into pre-read, and we want our candidates to go through those. Okay. Yes, we know they're not examinable. Yes, we know that if you know them, you don't need to do them. It's a very good thing to do, notwithstanding, just to make sure that you're familiar with them. Because remember, the core readings then for those three, quants, economics, and financial statement analysis, makes the assumption that you're familiar with the basic material behind those topics and starts off from that point onwards. Okay, which is examinable, and if you're not familiar with that, it makes those readings quite difficult to go through. Okay, and what we've done then as part of our revision program is, in the videos that we've got, in the notes that we give you for the revision, I make no distinctions whatsoever. Okay, just a very important point to note that when you look at our revision programs, okay, whether it be our notes or in our videos, I include everything again, both pre-read and core, just to give you a complete picture of everything once again, no matter whether it's examined or not. Okay, we put it in there. Of course, when we give you our practice exams, we're only going to give you core material because that's what's going to be examined. But in the revision program, okay, where we give you a complete set of notes, a complete video review, we include everything in there just to make sure that everything is in there. So as you go through our material, you may well be saying, hold on a second, I haven't seen this before. Well, it may well have been in the pre-read section, and very good to know it's notwithstanding. Okay, but based on all of that, after a long discussion, you can see why then the marks have gone down just a little bit for those three sections, because a lot of that material has been taken out. Corporate issuers goes 6 to 9, also a little bit lower. Okay, and remembering again, guys, if we had to draw a line over here, what you would say is, okay, that is paper 1, and that is paper 2. Corporate issue has now found itself out of paper 2 into paper 1. And there we see over there, because corporate issuers was taken out of paper 2, there has been a little bit of an increased weighting then for our two big asset classes, equities and fixed income, have gone from 10 to 12 to 11 to 14. So a slightly increased weighting over there. But the truth be told, and guys, and I'm trying to give a little bit of comfort and for those that perhaps never passed in 2023 or didn't manage to write in 23 but had gone through the syllabus, there's very little actual change to the material. Okay, a lot of stuff's moved around in between various topics. Okay, but in terms of actual changes, to the extent of making the syllabus in CFA Level 1 a little bit unrecognizable from last year, not at all. Okay, you may well say, well, everything moved around a bit. Yes, that they have done. Some stuff has gone out of core into pre-read, also true. But the syllabus as a core syllabus has remained almost, dare I say, fairly untouched. Okay. maybe a slight exaggeration, but you'd more than recognize the syllabus year on year. Okay, when we look at some of the exam times itself, okay, you can write Feb, May, August, or November. Those are your various times. Of course, the Feb window starting fairly soon on the 19th of Feb. The question we sometimes get asked is, why is there exam windows? Well, there's an exam window. For example, if we look at Feb, 19th of Feb to the 25th of Feb, the reason we've got an exam window over there is because there's not enough computers to go around. In the olden days, okay, when it was paper-based testing, what used to happen, everybody wrote across the world in the same day. It used to be a Saturday, okay, and everybody wrote on the same day. They used to call it the AM paper. You used to write 9 AM till 12, take a 2-hour break, and then you used to write 2 till 5 PM. Standard across the world. Now they've moved to computer-based testing, and everything's done now on computers. What happens now is there's not enough computers to go around for everybody, so you get a specific slot and you write within your slot. Okay, but remember, you've got to go and book yourself an exam time then. Okay, we look over here at calculator policy. By now, I hope everybody's familiar with this. Just be careful. We still get some candidates that even at the back end of the process, okay, still not so familiar with their calculators. Okay, so you got your Texas Instruments and you got your HP12C. Just in terms of the Texas Instruments, it's the BA2, it's the BA2 Plus. Okay, but yes, you can use the Professional as well for the Texas. Okay. Please be informed. Please don't try any tricks. I know some candidates do this. Okay, they say, well, what if we go into the exam with our Sharp calculator or our Casio? Do you think that that they'll accept it? No, they won't. Clearly, we've seen this many times. Don't try that trick. You've got only 2 calculators, guys, the Texas and the HP12C. And look at the models, guys. When you talk about the HP12C, it's not the HP10B. Okay, a lot of candidates are familiar with the HP10, the 10B, which is a lovely calculator. Unfortunately, that's only available to FRM candidates, not CFA candidates. Okay. And just to conclude this particular video, just a little bit about what Edge designations can do for you in terms of writing your final paper. Okay, obviously we've got option number 1, which is an online program. Not so related, of course, to revision, because hopefully by now you have gone through the syllabus. But for those that are interested in perhaps watching this video and might want to look at us for level 2 or 3, we give you, as part of our online option, we give you a complete set of notes, full set of videos, a QBank, and a formula sheet. Okay, what's probably more interesting to the revision candidates is we give you, in terms of option 2, our revision program. You get a complete set of revision notes. Okay, those are in PDF format for those that wish to print those, easily printable. You get revision videos. The videos, as mentioned, are quite comprehensive, to the extent that we even include the pre-reads on those, just to give you a complete sense of the entire syllabus. Even though, yes, we're fully familiar, of course, that and aware that the pre-reads are not examinable, but we do include that in our revision program. And you get 3 full practice exams, which is 6 practice papers, of course, with solutions there as well. In terms of the revision videos, it ranges between 18 to about 20 hours worth of video. And the reason we do that is typically we ask our candidates to take a weekend off. Okay, in the past, what we used to do when we ran live sessions, we would ask the candidates to come in to our campus at Edge on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we worked about 6 to 7 hours a day, and that gave you around about 20 hours worth of video. So if you are looking at our videos, that's approximately how much time you need to set aside. Got a complete question bank if that is of interest to you. If you're just looking for notes, we've got that available there for you as part of option 4. And option 5 is the 3 full exams available to you there. But remember, and something we just need to clear up, if you do purchase option number 2, which is the revision program, okay, that would include the exams in there as well. Okay, please don't buy both. Okay, and that then brings us hopefully to a conclusion of our revision and exam video. Okay, hopefully we've given you guys a good sense of what you can expect in your exam, what's coming, not what's coming up, that we don't know, of course, but what you can expect in your exam. Okay, in addition to what Edge could do for you as a prep provider. Okay, and of course we always get the final question: how much do you need to pass this exam? What's the pass mark? It's looking like it's about 70%, round about that, which is high. So you really got to know your work well for this particular exam. On that note, as we come to our conclusion, we at Edge Designations wish you the best of luck. And we don't really wish you luck because people that have studied hard don't really need luck, other than a little bit perhaps of fortune on the exam day, that everything goes their way. But we wish you the best of fortune, the best of luck. Study hard, and please reach out if we can help you with anything.